Time is but an illusion that helps things make sense. It's from the final episode of Adventure Time, and today we're going to be talking about how it's true and how time only goes forward. There's no point in dwelling on the past, instead, we should appreciate it. So, this all stemmed from me going through a lot of my childhood things recently. First started with my Legos. I was downsizing, and so I was going through some of my bins, and I had a lot of my Legos together. And it's weird the memories that Legos have. I'm going through it and I find things that I've built probably about 10, 15 years ago, untouched and the way they were at that point. And I remember how imaginative I was. I look at these things and they look nothing like what they were supposed to, but I had an image in my head, and that's what I did. That's what I made. And it was a little bit heartbreaking because in order to downsize, I was breaking up these Legos and putting them into bigger bins. And I was thinking, and I was like, why did I lose that imaginative side? You know, was it time? Was it growing up? What was the cause? So that was one. Another one, I was outside and I was just going for a walk. And when I was younger, I liked to collect sticks. I would go into a forest and I would find sticks on the ground and just kind of like put them in a pile. I don't know, it was like satisfying. It's kind of like my version of Power Wash Simulator, where it's just nice to see a pile of sticks. And and so I was doing the same, but I had my phone on me, and then I got a call, and then had to leave. And I realized that when I was younger, I didn't have to worry about any of that. I didn't have to take care of things. I could disappear into the forest for hours, and just as long as I was back by supper, it'd be fine. I wouldn't have to worry about responsibilities. I wouldn't have to worry about all these adult things. Now, can we go back to that carefree time? Is it possible? I know after that I was longing for that time, and naturally so. It's one of those things where you get a glimpse of it again and remember how it used to be. Now, I'm going to split this into two different arguments. One is that you cannot go back to your childhood and say you need to move on. And the other is to protect your inner child. I think they can go hand in hand, honestly. So let me explain. Let's start by establishing the first point, and that is, you know, looking at memories through rose-tinted glasses. When you were a kid, all the problems you had now seem small, but they were huge at that time because you didn't know anything different. For example, I wasn't allowed to play Call of Duty until I was 10. So if I went back in time and I asked my 8-year-old self, if I was like, hey, you want to swap positions with me? You have all these responsibilities, but you can play Call of Duty. He'd be like, hell yeah, let me get in there. Because I wanted to play it so, so bad. And so the fact that I can play it anytime now, and for as long as I want, it's mind blowing. That's insane. And I would have made that switch in a heartbeat, even if it came with responsibilities. And of course, you can look back and be like, oh well, it wasn't a big deal. I could get over it. But at the time, it was a big deal to you because you didn't know anything different. And of course, there's more extreme cases and different examples, but that was just something to let you know what I was thinking about. So let's go to the first argument here, is that there's no going back. You got to move on. Fortunately, that's true. Now, this will be a little bit sad. Okay, I'm gonna be dead honest. There is no going back. You can't become a kid again. Unfortunately, where you are now is where you're gonna stay. There's no point in trying to dwell on the past and be sad about it because you gotta keep moving. You gotta be an adult. You gotta take your life in your own hands. And unfortunately, it sucks, but what else can you do? There is no time machine that can send you back. There is no way that you can be a carefree kid again. Because even if you were sent back, either you're going to have these memories and it won't be the same, or you won't have these memories and you won't be able to appreciate properly. I don't know if that made any sense, but it sounded better in my head. So, that's not a very happy thought. Kind of sucks. But my second point here is to protect your inner child. When I was going through these Legos, I found my Lego Batwing, and I'm a huge Batman fan. I love the comics. I'm reading The Long Halloween right now, and I found my Batwing, and I was like, "Oh, this is awesome!" And I decided to put it back together and put it up on my shelf. You know, it's something small, and I don't want to say childish because Lego isn't really childish, but it's from my childhood. And Batman was something I was a huge fan of. And so seeing that, reminds me who I am and what I like. Now, you might have something similar to that, or it might be a show or a movie or a video game, anything. If you can somehow protect that and make it part of your life, I feel like it becomes a bit easier to transition into a new stage. I have a little plushie of Sackboy on my shelf. I used to love Little Big Planet. I don't really play it anymore, but it's still a reminder of the good times I had, you know? And I find that it makes it a little better because you can still indulge in the things that made you happy as a kid. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to collect action figures, if you want to finish off that collection, then do it. Like I want to eventually finish off my Skylanders collection. I have a crap ton. They're in storage right now, but eventually once I have the money, I want to do that. And I think that's one of those dreams I had when I was a kid. And, as an adult, you finally have money to spend. Remember how hard it was to get money? As a kid, you had to rely on chores and odd jobs. Like the other day, I spent $10 on a video game. And I was like, when I was a kid, that would have been killer. I remember saving up months for Luigi's Mansion for 3DS. Then I found out it was like $30, $40. And I'm like, that's like 2 hours of work for me. And I thought that was mind blowing. So that's the other thing. Take into consideration what you have now that you didn't have back then. And not only just material possessions, but, things like that, abilities, opportunities, anything that would give advantage to now, if that makes sense. So yeah, I hope this helped. If you're struggling with something like that, and I think it's something that everyone struggles with, I do highly recommend checking out Adventure Time. It's something that unironically helped me so much when growing up because of the way it spins everything and the story it tells. So if you are struggling, check that out. The later seasons go deep into the ideas of growing up and what it means and losing your childhood, but also protecting your childlike innocence. So yeah, I'll wrap it up here. You guys take care of yourselves. Hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, make sure to leave a comment. I always love hearing from you. Alrighty, take care. Bye bye.